Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just doing like a little informational kind of thing. Yeah, I have a script. So, obsessive compulsive disorder, better known as OCD, is a chronic mental health condition characterized by uncontrollable recurring thoughts, obsessions, and repetitive behaviors, compulsions, performed to reduce anxiety. It is regularly mischaracterized as just being organized or clean, which is not the full story at all. Let's get that set straight. OCD is a very deep topic to get into that will vary from person to person. There's no cookie cutter shape of it, of how it is, and how somebody with OCD is going to act or behave. There's no one set way. Some of the most common forms of OCD are fear of contamination or germs, forbidden sexual or religious thoughts, aggressive and impulsive thoughts towards self or others, and a need for symmetry. It's common for someone with OCD to show signs of more than one form. These are not the only forms, these are just the most common ones that'll show up with most people. Part of OCD is having the compulsion to momentarily get rid of that sudden anxiety with a sense of relief. The most common compulsions for these common forms are excessive cleaning and hand washing, ordering or arranging items, checking different objects like stoves, locks, doors, all this kind of stuff that could lead to something. Hoarding and mental rituals like counting or praying or just having to do something the same way every single time. There is no exact one cause for OCD. It's an unknown factor. But biologically, it has alterations in the brain's chemistry and function, mainly in the areas that manage judgment, movement, all that kind of stuff. So it can also be triggered or worsened. It is not always you're not always going to be born with it. It can develop on its own over time, but it can be triggered or worsened by stressful life events, family dynamics, or some form of infection. People have experienced childhood trauma, have a history of OCD in their family, or exhibit other mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, ADHD, just things like that have an increased risk compared to somebody who's just completely normal, has nothing going on. OCD currently affects 1 to 2% of people throughout just the United States alone, but in total, I believe I think it's just in total, I researched this earlier, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but in total, it affects 3 million people worldwide, which is the entirety of Arizona and 2 other places. I am not 100% on that one. But throughout adults, women are slightly more affected than men will be. And OCD will often begin the younger you are, so like childhood, adolescence, early adulthood. That's when most people start to show symptoms, signs, and start to develop it. It's common for people without OCD to have distressing thoughts, repetitive behaviors, but they are not as time-consuming and mentally distressing or physically impairing as somebody with OCD will experience it. These people without OCD will be able to continue their day-to-day life as normal. It won't cause them as much distress. They will still be able to function and go on and do whatever it is they were going to do. It'll just distract their mind for a little while, and they'll almost always be able to get it off their mind and get themselves distracted. For someone with OCD, that is just not possible. For someone with OCD, their thoughts are extremely persistent and intrusive, and the repetitive behaviors are so rigid, causing it to feel as though it must be done. And if their behaviors, compulsions, and rituals have not been completed, it can commonly cause great distress for somebody, preventing them from doing all of these things. For example, the person with OCD may fear that dire consequences will occur to themselves, to their loved ones, to just people around them if their behaviors are not completed. But most people with OCD are aware and they know or suspect that their obsessional thoughts are not realistic, nor are they true. But they still have difficulty disengaging from obsessive thoughts or stopping these compulsive behaviors because it feels like you physically can't. It's like you have to follow through or you just won't be able to function and everything's going to go wrong. And no matter how much you don't like no matter how much you know that this is not a true thing, your brain will always think that it's going to happen and you can't do anything about it unless you follow these compulsions. There is no cure to it. I don't think that's the right word for it, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. But there is things that can help to get it under control. There's different therapies for it, there's medications for it, and the top 3 ways of dealing with it is you just gotta go for it head on and go through exposure therapy, which is just exposing these things little by little. I recently watched I watched one of these therapy videos, and it was somebody was being blindfolded and fed chicken because they were not able to tell if it was fully cooked or not, and they weren't able to obsess over it. It's difficult though, as you can't just expect somebody to willingly do this, but it is effective. It just takes a lot of time to deal with. But OCD can affect people in so many different ways. There's no one way it's gonna look. Somebody you might know could be struggling with it and just doesn't show it because it's internalized, or doesn't know that they have it yet, but they have different signs of it. But some people may spend so much of their day carrying out a variety of compulsions that'll make them unable to get out of the house or manage normal everyday activities that they would be able to do regularly or that a normal person would be able to do. While others may appear that they're coping with their day-to-day life while still struggling and suffering from a huge amount of their distress from their obsessive thoughts inside, and they're just not letting it show. But just because somebody isn't fitting your definition of what OCD is doesn't mean that they don't have it. If they have been diagnosed with it, then they have it. That's kind of the whole point. Not everybody has just a little bit of OCD in them. Just because you are clean does not mean you have OCD. You can just enjoy being neat or tidy and just like the feeling of it without feeling like it has to be a specific way or nothing else is going to happen and something bad will happen. It's really a hard topic to get into since it is so deep and vulnerable, and no two people are going to be the exact same way. You need to figure out what's going to work for you and what helps you and all of this stuff and support system and everything. But yeah. It's a lot more complex than you would think, but yeah. The most common medications and the evidence-based for working are different selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are normally antidepressants, anxiety medications, all that kind of stuff. So citalopram, fluoxetine, which are also commonly known as Celexa, and Prozac. Those are commonly given to people with OCD. And there's also different therapies you can do, trying to just get in touch with these compulsions and all of these behaviors, because no matter how much you wish they could just go away, you will just have to deal with them one day head on. And it's a part of you. That's why you need to just learn to grow with them rather than trying to grow against them. But there is different things you could do. You don't have to take medications. Or if they're giving you bad side effects, there's other things out there that you could be taking or that you could be doing to kind of help. There's no one right thing that everyone's going to be able to do. You kind of just have to figure it out as time goes on. It's not something that's just going to happen within a day or 2 days or a week or a month. You kind of just gotta go for it. But yeah, this is my little informational video. This is kind of just an excuse for me to research more about OCD, since a few months ago I was diagnosed with it. So yeah, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. Also, can we all appreciate my background? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff, or don't. That's up to you. But yeah, thank you so much. I love you. This was filmed on my school computer, and all the work was done during school. So yeah, give me more video ideas in the comments, and I love you guys all so much. Where's the button?